We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
In the high-stakes world of professional basketball, the riches can vanish as quickly as they appear. Shockingly, around 65% of NBA players end up facing serious financial trouble after retirement. Despite raking in millions and living lives filled with luxury and fame, many struggle once the spotlight fades. Behind the scenes, poor money management, bad investments, and extravagant lifestyles have led some from superstardom to bankruptcy. In this video, we're diving into the stories of 10 former NBA players who lost it all. Dennis Rodman, $27 million. Dennis Rodman's wild persona and larger-than-life lifestyle have made him one of the most fascinating and polarizing figures in sports history. From his ever-changing hair colors to his unpredictable ventures off the court, his journey is a whirlwind of fame, controversy, and financial ups and downs. But beyond the spectacle was a fierce competitor, an elite defender and rebounding machine. Drafted by the Pistons in 1986, Rodman rose from an overlooked high schooler to a 5-time NBA champion. His relentless energy helped Detroit secure 2 titles, cementing his legacy as a cornerstone of their dominant defense.
That's just hard work right there, and knowing what's about the game of basketball.
In 1995, Dennis Rodman joined forces with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on the Chicago Bulls, becoming a crucial part of their legendary three-peat from 1996 to 1998. His dominance on the boards and defensive tenacity helped fuel one of the most iconic dynasties in NBA history. In 2011, his legacy was immortalized with his induction into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. But while Rodman's on-court achievements were staggering, his personal life told a different story. Rodman fell victim to one of the biggest financial scams in sports, losing a significant sum to Peggy Ann Fulford, a con artist posing as a trusted financial advisor. His spending habits also drew attention during a child support hearing, where it was revealed he had splurged heavily at Victoria's Secret. His marriage to Michelle Moyer ended in a prolonged divorce finalized in 2012, followed by a court order demanding $500,000 in unpaid child support. Legal troubles piled up. Rodman paid thousands in fines, from a $200,000 penalty for headbutting a referee to $20,000 for ditching the Bulls during the 1998 NBA Finals to appear in a wrestling match. He was fined again for clashing with another referee and for missing training camp altogether. Arrests for drunk driving and domestic disturbances added to the chaos. Known for his flair, Rodman's taste for luxury was evident in his car collection, featuring a Lamborghini Huracan, Gallardo, Ford Mustang convertible, and a custom Hummer H1. Lavish spending on strip clubs and alcohol only deepened his financial troubles, making his story a cautionary tale of excess and mismanagement. Darius Miles, $62 million. Darius Miles burst onto the basketball scene with raw talent and electrifying potential, becoming one of the most talked about young stars of his time. Born in Belleville, Illinois, and raised in the tough streets of East St. Louis, Miles found refuge in basketball, a way to rise above his surroundings and provide a better life for his family. His game quickly drew national attention, and he was soon ranked among the top high school prospects in the country. Though initially committed to play for St. John's, Miles made a bold move by entering the 2000 NBA draft straight out of high school. It was a decision driven by ambition and confidence, and it paid off early as he made an immediate impact in the league. But as his NBA career gained momentum, so did his lavish lifestyle. The money flowed, and with it came the temptations of fame, luxury, excess, and a fast-paced life that eventually caught up with him.
The Los Angeles Clippers select Darius Miles of East St. Louis High School.
Drafted 3rd overall by the Los Angeles Clippers, Darius Miles brought energy and excitement to the league with his high-flying dunks and electrifying presence. In just 2 seasons, he helped turn the struggling Clippers into a competitive team, even earning a spot on the NBA All-Rookie team in 2001. With each highlight reel play, Miles seemed destined for long-term stardom. But while his career was rising, so was his spending. Miles had a deep passion for luxury cars, amassing an impressive fleet that included Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and custom-made rides. He was rarely seen without designer gear. Gucci, Versace, and Louis Vuitton dominated his wardrobe. His extravagant lifestyle, however, soon outweighed his income. A failed restaurant in his hometown of Belleville, Illinois, became one of his earliest financial missteps, draining resources without delivering returns. Then came a risky real estate venture that collapsed, costing him a fortune. Despite earning nearly $62 million during his career, Miles filed for bankruptcy on September 18, 2016. His story is a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out without the right guidance and financial discipline. Glenn Rice, $67 million. Glenn Rice's journey through the NBA is a story of talent, triumph, and hard-earned lessons. Known for his smooth shooting and scoring versatility, Rice rose to prominence as one of the league's top small forwards, earning 3 All-Star selections and winning a championship with the Lakers. Though he missed out on playing in the NBA All-Star Game in 1995, he left his mark by winning the long-distance shootout, narrowly edging out Reggie Miller. But while his on-court achievements were impressive, the challenges truly began after the final buzzer of his career. Like many former athletes, Rice lived lavishly during his playing days, but failed to prepare for life after basketball. Poor financial planning and risky investments began to drain his wealth. One of the biggest burdens he faced came in the form of child support payments, at one point, $1,500 per month. With much of his fortune gone, even this amount became difficult to maintain. Rice eventually sought a reduction, and the court lowered it to $600, though he still had to catch up on $2,000 in unpaid support. Despite the setbacks, Rice has managed to regain some financial footing. With a net worth of around $25 million, he's far from broke, but a shadow of his former wealth. Now serving as a scout and community ambassador for the Miami Heat, Rice has carved out a more grounded life, one built on the lessons of past mistakes and a renewed commitment to stability. Larry Johnson, $83 million. Larry Johnson's journey from on-court dominance to financial hardship is a striking cautionary tale. Despite standing shorter than most power forwards, his strength and athleticism made him a force, captivating fans with his explosive dunks and magnetic personality. Rising quickly through the college ranks, he earned the Rookie of the Year award and became a household name, his energy and flair lighting up arenas. Yet, even with a net worth once reaching $83 million, fate took a harsher turn. A debilitating back injury forced him into early retirement, abruptly ending the lucrative stream of NBA income. His lack of financial literacy compounded the problem, as his generous nature, always ready to help family, friends, and charitable causes, drained his resources. Coupled with the lavish lifestyle typical of a pro athlete, including expensive homes and luxury cars, his financial foundation crumbled into bankruptcy. Despite these setbacks, Johnson has taken steps to rebuild his life. Returning to the NBA in a new role as a business operations representative and player developer, he now leverages his experience to forge a more stable future, determined to overcome the obstacles of his past. Derrick Coleman, $87 million. Derrick Coleman entered the NBA with sky-high expectations as the #1 overall pick in the 1990 draft, hailed as a generational talent and the potential savior of a struggling franchise. With skills that set him apart from his peers, he was seen as one of the best power forwards of his era. But despite his natural ability, Coleman struggled with the immense pressure that came with leading a team, especially without a seasoned mentor to guide him. In hindsight, he often pointed to that lack of guidance as one of his biggest regrets. Beneath his on-court success, Coleman wrestled with deeper issues, alcohol abuse, attitude problems, and questions about his effort that slowly began to overshadow his performance. Though he earned an impressive $87 million during his career, poor financial decisions and personal struggles eventually led him to file for bankruptcy. Motivated by a desire to give back, Coleman invested heavily in Detroit, his hometown. His most ambitious project, Coleman's Corner, was intended to breathe life into one of the city's most neglected areas through job creation, real estate development, and economic revitalization. But when the real estate market crashed, Detroit was hit especially hard. Property values collapsed, and Coleman's investments crumbled. He defaulted on key loans, and the once promising development was left in limbo. Coleman's troubles were compounded by his attitude issues, which plagued much of his career and were spotlighted again during his involvement in the infamous Palace Brawl as a member of the Detroit Pistons. Yet, through all the setbacks, Coleman found a path forward. Today, he uses his story as a cautionary tale and a tool for change, mentoring others and working to ensure they don't repeat the same mistakes. Shawn Kemp, $90 million. Shawn Kemp's rise in the NBA was electrifying. With explosive athleticism and a commanding presence on the court, he became one of the most dominant players of the 1990s. Standing 6'10", Kemp thrilled fans with high-flying dunks and relentless energy, earning 6 All-Star selections and leading the Seattle Supersonics to the NBA Finals. Over his 14-year career, he raked in an astounding $90 million, seemingly securing a future of luxury and financial freedom. But behind the highlight reels and fame, Kemp's personal decisions began to unravel his fortune. Lavish spending on luxury cars, sprawling homes, and designer jewelry quickly drained his resources. His financial burdens multiplied with at least 6 children to support, and the legal system's demands only added pressure. Substance abuse issues further clouded his judgment, leading to costly legal battles and damage to his reputation. Arrests for drug possession and other legal troubles eroded both his finances and public image. Kemp also ventured into business, including restaurant investments, but many of these failed, compounding his losses. By 2022, the man who once earned $90 million was left with just $5 million in assets. His story is a sobering example of how fame and fortune can vanish without foresight, and how personal choices off the court can overshadow even the most dazzling career on it. Vin Baker, $100 million. Vin Baker's rise in the NBA was as swift as it was impressive. Standing at 6'11" with a rare mix of finesse and power, he quickly emerged in the mid-1990s as one of the league's top power forwards. His talent earned him millions and a place among the NBA's elite as he adapted seamlessly to the evolving demands of the game. But behind the scenes, Baker was battling demons that would eventually derail everything he'd built. Despite his on-court dominance, Baker struggled with the pressures of fame and the expectations that came with success. A naturally shy and reserved man, he turned to alcohol and marijuana as coping mechanisms. What started as a way to manage anxiety quietly grew into a full-blown addiction. As his dependence deepened, his performance declined, and the bright trajectory of his career began to dim. Baker's battle with substance abuse not only shattered his NBA career, but also wiped out his fortune. He went from signing multi-million-dollar contracts to declaring bankruptcy, a stunning fall from grace. His story is a sobering reminder of how quickly fame and fortune can vanish when internal struggles go unchecked. But Baker didn't stay down. He eventually sought help, turned his life around, and now uses his story to inspire others, proving that redemption is always possible, even after hitting rock bottom.
I managed to function. I was a functioning alcoholic.
Vin Baker's belief that alcohol and marijuana fueled his success became a dangerous illusion. Convinced he needed them to perform, he spiraled deeper into addiction, blurring the line between his talent and his dependence. As the substances took hold, his discipline slipped. He arrived at practices out of shape and out of focus, and his once dominant presence on the court began to fade. His declining performance and unstable personal life made him a liability, leading to a series of trades that reflected his crumbling reputation. With each move, his value in the league diminished, and teams grew wary of taking a chance on him. Off the court, Baker's lifestyle mirrored his downward spiral. Lavish parties, wild gambling sprees in Las Vegas, and reckless spending drained his finances. He poured money into unwise investments, chasing quick returns that never came. What was once a promising, multi-million-dollar career unraveled under the weight of addiction and poor decisions. Baker's story is a stark reminder that unchecked demons can strip even the most gifted athletes of everything. But even in the face of ruin, his journey also highlights the power of redemption and the strength it takes to confront one's lowest moments. Latrell Sprewell, $100 million. Latrell Sprewell's story is a striking example of how fame and fortune can slip away through poor choices and unchecked ambition. Known for his signature cornrows and fiery play style, Sprewell was more than just a flashy figure. He was a fierce competitor on the court. But off the hardwood, his financial decisions led him into a downward spiral. Sprewell's biggest misstep came when he tried to parlay his NBA success into a music career. He launched million-dollar dream records, betting big on the idea that his name alone would bring hits. But the venture flopped, his artists failed to gain traction, and the label's glitzy marketing campaigns and top-shelf equipment quickly burned through his cash. The dream turned into a financial nightmare. Not long after, Sprewell doubled down on risky business with a lavish restaurant in his hometown of Milwaukee. He spared no expense, hiring elite designers, importing luxury furnishings, and crafting a high-end dining experience. But with no experience in the food industry, Sprewell quickly found himself overwhelmed. The business couldn't keep up with the high costs, and a lack of regular customers only added to the financial strain. Despite earning millions during his NBA career, Sprewell's fortune dwindled fast. His story isn't just about money lost. It's about how unchecked ego, risky ventures, and a lack of planning can unravel even the most promising post-career path. Antoine Walker, $18 million. Antoine Walker's story is a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars can fall without a solid foundation of financial literacy and discipline. A charismatic and talented forward, Walker rose quickly to fame, from his standout college career at the University of Kentucky to becoming a fan favorite with the Boston Celtics, and later an NBA champion with the Miami Heat. Yet, for all the success he enjoyed on the court, Walker struggled mightily off it. Like many young athletes, he was thrust into sudden wealth with little preparation for the responsibilities it demanded. He embraced the lifestyle that often comes with fame: exotic cars, designer jewelry, and a seemingly endless flow of luxury. Walker once owned several high-end vehicles at a time and built a prized collection of Rolex watches, items that rapidly depreciated while draining his finances. Walker's generosity only compounded his financial woes. He spent millions supporting friends and family, funding their lifestyles, and covering their expenses on lavish vacations. He took pride in sharing his success, but the lack of boundaries and financial oversight eventually became unsustainable. Perhaps the most damaging blow came during the 2007-2008 financial crisis. Like many, Walker had invested heavily in real estate, hoping to grow his wealth. But as the market collapsed, so did the value of his investments. Combined with his personal spending and frequent gambling trips to Las Vegas, the losses were devastating. Eventually, the financial pressure became too much. Walker filed for bankruptcy in 2010, having earned over $108 million during his NBA career, but left with virtually nothing. Despite the fall, Walker didn't stay down. He began to rebuild, not just his finances, but his entire outlook. He took responsibility, became an advocate for financial literacy, and now speaks openly to young athletes about the pitfalls of sudden wealth. His comeback is not defined by riches, but by wisdom and resilience, qualities he hopes will help others avoid the same fate. Allen Iverson, $200 million. Allen Iverson's story is both iconic and cautionary, a tale of unmatched talent on the court, overshadowed by unchecked excess off it. Drafted first overall by the Philadelphia 76ers in 1996, Iverson quickly became a basketball phenomenon. His electrifying crossover dribble and fearless scoring ability made him a legend in the league and a cultural icon. But with stardom came immense wealth, and with that wealth came a lifestyle that would eventually spiral out of control. Iverson embodied the peak of the bling-bling era. He adorned himself with diamond-studded jewelry, gold chains, and custom designer clothing. He traveled in style, bought fleets of luxury cars, and spent extravagantly on parties, nightclubs, and gambling. His spending habits became infamous, so much so that losing a luxury car in an airport parking lot didn't faze him. He simply bought a new one. Behind the glamour, however, was a financial structure built on unstable ground. Despite earning an estimated $200 million over his career, including endorsements, Iverson's monthly expenses ballooned to unsustainable levels. Reports claimed he spent $10,000 per month on new clothes, $10,000 per month at restaurants, $10,000 per month on groceries, $125,000 per month on mortgages and credit card bills. The financial toll worsened in 2012 during a contentious divorce, where his ex-wife sued for unpaid child support and violations of a postnuptial agreement. Around the same time, a court froze his bank account over an $860,000 debt to a jeweler. 2 of his homes went into foreclosure, and rumors swirled that he was struggling to afford food, though some of these reports were exaggerated. Iverson's story seemed destined for a tragic end, but a silver lining emerged. Unbeknownst to many, he had a trust fund set up through Reebok as part of a lifetime endorsement deal. The fund, worth $32 million, is set to become fully accessible to him in 2030, acting as a form of financial safety net. While Iverson's downfall highlights the perils of unchecked spending and a lack of financial planning, his legacy is also one of survival and resilience. Today, he's more involved in community outreach, the NBA, and mentoring young players, hoping they can learn from the cautionary tale his own journey has become.